Welcome to this explainer. Okay, let's talk about your lawn. Today, we are diving into a brilliant, completely budget-friendly hack that's going to transform your yard this very weekend. If you're a homeowner who really wants that lush, green grass without spending an absolute fortune on a professional landscaping crew, you are in exactly the right place. We're going to walk through a highly actionable, incredibly simple DIY method to get your yard looking totally pristine again.
Here's how we're going to break this all down today. First, the frustrating bare spot problem. Second, the foolproof $5 fix. Third, the golden rules of timing. And finally, a genius secret flower pro tip. So, let's just jump right into section 1, the frustrating bare spot problem.
Look, we have absolutely all been there, right? Are you just totally tired of looking out your window and seeing those frustrating patches of exposed, dead soil totally ruining your garden design? It's literally such an eyesore. You put so much time, sweat, and care into making your home look great, and then out of nowhere, these prominent brown dirt patches just pop up right in the middle of your otherwise perfect green grass. It completely throws off the whole aesthetic, doesn't it?
The truth is, these spots happen to everyone, and usually it's just from everyday life. The common culprits? Heavy foot traffic, like the kids running the exact same path over and over. Or maybe pet urine burns from the family dog. Sometimes it's unseen grub damage happening right below the surface, or lawn disease, or just a really harsh summer drought. But here is the absolute most critical thing you need to know, and consider this a major warning. If you leave those bare spots untreated, weeds will absolutely take over. I mean, they will aggressively colonize that exposed soil so fast, and those ugly dirt spots are just going to get bigger, uglier, and way more difficult to manage. So it really is a race against time.
Which brings us right to section 2. The foolproof $5 fix.
Now, for the absolute best news you're going to hear all day, you don't need to call a professional landscaping company. You don't need heavy machinery. You literally only need $5 to completely repair this damage yourself. Seriously, you heard me right. Just a single $5 bill is your ticket to restoring a lush green patch where that dead brown dirt used to be. It's kind of the ultimate budget hack for homeowners willing to put in just a tiny bit of DIY effort.
So how exactly are we spending that $5? Well, breaking down the budget, this hack requires about $3 for a little bit of quality topsoil or compost, and roughly $2 for some high-quality grass seed. And that is literally the whole shebang. Forget the super expensive chemical treatments or buying those massive, pricey rolls of sod. For less than the cost of a fancy coffee at your local cafe, you've got all the raw materials you need to turn this problem around. All right, here is your foolproof 6-step framework that you can easily execute this weekend. Step 1. Grab a rake and scratch that bare spot to loosen just the top quarter-inch of soil. This is absolutely crucial because it breaks up the hard, compacted dirt so the new roots have somewhere to go. Step 2. Spread a thin quarter-inch layer of that fresh topsoil or compost you just bought. Step 3. Broadcast your quality grass seed at a double rate. Think of this as your cheap insurance policy. Don't be shy with it. Step 4. Physically walk over the seeded area. Step 5. Keep it moist by watering it 2 to 3 times daily for 10 to 14 days. And finally, Step 6. If local birds start treating your fresh seed like an all-you-can-eat buffet, just cover it with a very light layer of straw mulch to protect it.
I want to pause on Step 4 for a second, because this is a step that so many beginners completely skip over. The physical act of walking over the area is vital. I know it sounds almost too simple, but creating direct seed-to-soil contact by lightly stepping on the seeds is the absolute major secret to ensuring your new grass actually takes root and grows. Those seeds need to be snugly pressed into their new home, right? Not just floating loosely on top where a strong gust of wind can blow them away, or where birds can easily swoop down and grab them.
Let's move on to section 3. Golden rules of timing. Now, the golden rule of timing completely depends on your specific grass type. If you have cool season grass, which is super common for a lot of folks in northern climates across North America and Europe, you really should be seeding in early fall, like September, or early spring. On the flip side of that, if you have warm season grass, those absolutely need to be seeded in late spring, typically around May or June when that soil is really starting to warm up significantly. However, I gotta say, no matter what grass you are dealing with, fall is the undeniable MVP of seeding seasons. It consistently gives the absolute best results, hands down. Why? Because during the fall, the soil is still warm enough for rapid seed germination, but the cooler air temperatures and the increased natural moisture mean there's significantly less stress on your delicate new grass. Plus, there is way less competition from those aggressive summer weeds. So, if you have the luxury of waiting for September, definitely do it.
Finally, we are wrapping up with section 4,
the secret flower pro tip.
Okay, this is genuinely one of the smartest, cheapest yard hacks out there. The flour trick is the incredibly simple practice of mixing your grass seed with standard everyday baking flour right from your kitchen pantry before you broadcast it. Now you might be wondering, why on earth would I do that? Well, grass seed blends in perfectly with dark topsoil, making it almost impossible to see where you've already sprinkled it. By coating those tiny seeds in white flour, you can visually track exactly where you've seeded. It ensures absolutely nothing is wasted. You completely avoid ending up with dense, clumpy clusters of grass in one spot and totally bare dirt in another. It costs practically nothing, but it makes your DIY job look perfectly professional.
Of course, as with literally all gardening projects, you've got to remember that a little bit of patience is required here. Here is your timeline to actual success. After you loosen the soil, add your topsoil and plant the seed on day 1, your main job is diligent watering. For days 1 through 14, you have to keep that soil moist 2 to 3 times daily. Honestly, this is the hardest part, but it is critical. If the seed dries out, it dies. End of story. But if you keep up with that simple watering routine, by weeks 3 and 4, those empty, ugly dirt spots will completely fill in with lush green grass and disappear from your yard entirely.
So why wait for the weeds to completely take over? You now have the exact timing, the step-by-step knowledge, and the ultimate $5 budget hack to fix this yourself. Grab a rake, go spend $5 on a little soil and seed, and become your own landscaping expert this weekend. It really makes you wonder, though, if you can fix a frustrating lawn problem for less than the price of a fancy cup of coffee, what other crazy expensive home maintenance myths are just waiting to be busted with a little bit of DIY science? I hope this explainer empowered you to get out there and tackle those bare spots with totally renewed confidence. Thanks so much for joining us.